Hey everyone, welcome back to the Taste of Sport channel. Today we are going to be sort of power ranking the NFC East division in the NFL. Our previous few videos were going through every division in the AFC, so if you haven't seen them, be sure to check them out. We did all 4 divisions, so they're all there to be seen for whoever's interested. But today we are doing the NFC East, and we'll get straight into it with number 4, who I'm sure is not going to be a surprise to a lot of you. It's going to be the Washington Redskins. Last year, they were a bit of a dumpster fire team, to be honest, and I think this year's not really going to be much different. It doesn't help them that they have a tough schedule as well. Maybe not the worst, but it is a pretty bad one. I have a couple of teams that they're facing at the start written down here. So at the start of their schedule, they go for the Eagles, the Cardinals, the Browns, the Ravens, and the Rams. And I'm not sure I can see them beating any of them, to be honest. Eagles, pretty good team also in the division. Cardinals, Kyler Murray is only going to get better this year, and they have D-Hop now as well. The Browns, you never know with them, to be honest, so you don't know. Ravens, probably best team in the league, so definitely not beating them. And the Rams, maybe, but as I said though, the Redskins, dumpster fire team, so probably not going to happen. This year they do have Ron Rivera, and they drafted Chase Young, so they have a young defensive line with a lot of potential, so probably going to be the strongest part of their team, but it's nowhere near enough to carry the entire team. They have 5 first rounders in that defensive line, so it's pretty stacked, but there's a lot of pieces elsewhere in the team that need to be fixed, and it's just, especially on offense, there's just not enough there to actually carry the offense to win games. So the Redskins, most definitely the worst team in the division, arguably the worst team in the NFC, but I think they were the worst team in the NFC last year. But we'll see how they go this year. They could prove me wrong just by their defense. I don't think their offense is going to be able to carry them. They don't really have enough there. But again, we'll see. Then we go to number 3, which is painful for me to put them here, but it's still going to be the New York Giants. I still don't think they have enough to put them past the Eagles or the Cowboys. Maybe the Eagles, because I think how the Eagles season will go is a bit up in the air. I don't see enough right now to be able to put them in front of the Eagles, so the Giants stay 3rd. Last year, again, just like the Redskins, bit of a dumpster fire team. I'm a bit more hopeful for this year because they've done well in the draft. They've picked up a few bits in free agency as well to help the team, but I feel like I get my hopes up every year with the Giants. And if you haven't been able to tell already, the New York Giants are my team, or if you didn't know already, that is the team I follow in the NFL. And I get my hopes up every year thinking this could be the year that we actually get well over 500 record, actually do well, make the playoffs again, which we haven't done for a bit. But I kind of get let down every year. I want to be a bit more hopeful for this year because obviously we have Daniel Jones now heading into his 2nd year, which should be better. We just kind of have to wait and see. The schedule that we have is kind of 50-50. There's a lot of teams there where I feel like it depends on how we are next season to go towards whether we'll win the games or not. I have a couple of games here which I think are the deciding games, where if we win or if we lose, it depends on whether we get to the playoffs. So I have Eagles, obviously, because they're in our division, so we play them twice. And as I said, they're the ones I'm kind of maybe we could be better than them, but it depends on them as well as us, obviously. The Rams, again, as I said, they're an iffy team, so we could beat them potentially. Cardinals are young. Kyler Murray's going to probably have a very good season, and again, as I said, they have DeAndre Hopkins now, so they are looking good. But we could also be looking good in the same kind of way. We have Daniel Jones heading into the 2nd year. We have Sterling Shepard, who could emerge as a huge wide receiver. People need to stay healthy as well. We have Evan Engram, a tight end, who just needs to have a healthy season to prove that he's as good as he looks when he is healthy. The Browns, again, is another game that could go either way. The Browns could be super hot this year. They could be garbage again. They have a record for just being garbage, so It's another game that could be a deciding game in the schedule. I can see us getting 6 or 7 wins throughout the season, but you know, I kind of, at the start of the season before any games are played, I can always see us getting 6 or 7 wins. And then the games happen and it's just, we don't get the 6 or 7 wins. So we'll see. We drafted offensive line with Andrew Thomas, which was a huge draft pick for us. Obviously, we picked him, I think we had a number 4 overall pick. And then we drafted a few pieces on defense as well. Like we got, I think it was Xavier McKinney is probably the best guy we got on defense in the draft. So we got a few pieces that we needed in free agency as well. There was, I think, Bradbury and Blake Martinez. So we'll see how that works out. But we brought in some things that we did actually need. We just need to see how it pans out and how DJ does in his second season. And then obviously Saquon Barkley needs to just do his thing. And we need to allow him to be able to do his thing, which should be easier on or with a better offensive line. But anyway, moving on from the Giants before I spend the entire video talking about them. Number 2 is going to be the Philadelphia Eagles. They only just failed last year. I mean, they were pretty 50-50 with the Cowboys for the whole season. And they, again, were another team that got hugely injured. But they still managed to be up there as one of the top NFC teams at the end of the season. I mean, the NFC East last year wasn't exactly a difficult division to be the top team in, so you can't really say much in terms of the general NFL about that. But definitely in terms of the NFC East, the Eagles are probably the number 2 team, as much as it hurts me to say. They were hugely injured last year at wide receiver and cornerback. I'm pretty sure they had some wide receivers playing cornerback, or maybe it was cornerbacks playing wide receiver by the end of the season. But yeah, it was really bad for them. They used the first round pick on Jalen Reagor, which was brought up a bit of drama just because there were other arguably better, on paper at least, wide receivers to pick at the time. But we'll see how that goes. They also then drafted Jalen Hurts, which kind of makes you think, do they not trust Carson Wentz to be able to stay healthy? I mean, fair enough that if they don't, because he has been injured so much recently. But like, how would that make Wentz feel that now they have someone like Jalen Hurts? They're ready to back him up and potentially even take his job if he does well, if he comes in. But I know it could also just drive him to, play better, or can't really say it'll drive him to stay healthy because it's not his fault that he's getting injured all the time. Looking at the schedule, I could see them getting maybe 7 or 8 wins. Again, if the team stays healthy, it could be even more than that. But Jalen Hurts is a good backup for them if Wentz does get injured again. So at least if he does get injured, they have something there that they can potentially rely on. Now, obviously, he's a rookie, so it's not going to be just like put him in and it'll be the same super hot fire that the team would get from Wentz, but a solid backup at least. Now, the number 1 team, which I'm sure a lot of people would agree with in the NFC East, I have down as the Dallas Cowboys, because this roster is extremely stacked and realistically last year should have done a lot better than they did, and I'm sure a lot of people think the same. It was a huge letdown last year because if you look at the team on paper, there is not many areas on that team which you think that needs improvement, because that's going to destroy the entire team. Now, a lot of the blame last year did go on Jason Garrett, and he has been let go, ended up with the Giants, but that's for a different video. And now they've brought in Mike McCarthy, who was the head coach of the Packers for a while. So we'll see how the team goes now, if it goes the same kind of way again, because it's still hugely stacked. And still, you can see the team going far. So if the same thing happens again, that's obviously on the players, not the coach. They have one of the top offensive lines in the league. They have one of the top running backs in the league. They added CeeDee Lamb to their receiver core. So that's now Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, and CeeDee Lamb as their receivers. So Dak Prescott has anything he could possibly want to throw to. He has Zeke Elliott that potentially handed off to. He has an offensive line in front of him, which is not going to crumble. Like, that offense, if it doesn't do well, then something is very wrong. Now, a lot of the blame could go on Dak Prescott because Some people do see him as a scapegoat just because he's not the best quarterback in terms of getting the ball where it needs to go. Like, he has the legs, he has Zeke Elliott to hand it off to, he has a stacked receiver core. I mean, it is kind of on him if things don't go well, but like, I don't see it not going well, to be honest. I can see the Cowboys doing very well this year. Last year, when the Cowboys were hot in their games, they were very hot. Like, I think at the start of the season, they did look pretty much untouchable, but then they kind of fell off, as the Cowboys do tend to do. So we'll see if that happens again this year with the new coaches. They did have a couple of big notable losses in their defense. In free agency, Robert Quinn left and Byron Jones left. I think they both left for bigger contracts elsewhere. I can't quite remember. But it all, as I said, does kind of depend on if Dak Prescott can perform and if Mike McCarthy can get the best out of a very talented roster that is still young. I don't know, it just kind of, it never seems to all come together with the Cowboys. To recap, I have the Redskins at number 4 because, yeah, dumpster fire team. Giants at number 3. They have some potential to be maybe number 2. I don't think they'll be number 1 in the division, but it depends on how Daniel Jones does in his second year. I'm excited to watch him in his second year. And number 2, the Eagles. If they can stay healthy, they're definite number 2. I'm hoping we can see a good season from Carson Wentz. It's been kind of, it is sad to see him injured every season, so I'm hoping he can have a healthy season just so we can see what he's capable of for a full year. And then number 1, which I don't think they're going to be touched by any other team in this division at least, is the Cowboys. Stacked roster, they just need to live up to their potential for one goddamn season. So yeah, let me know if you guys would order these teams any differently in the division in the comments below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, hit the bell if you want to get notifications for when we upload, and subscribe as well if you do want to see some more of these style videos. We have the rest of the divisions in the NFC coming soon, and that's going to be me done for the NFC East. So thank you guys for watching, and we will see you next time. Cheerio!